Interesting. A story of the stamped seal, huh? Indeed, it is an efficient solution. If we use a stamp, then Xingqiu won't have to struggle with his handwriting anymore. Since Xingqiu's signature has been previously revealed to the readers. But I have another idea.
Yes, that's it, Jinyu. Your writing has greatly improved today.
My apologies, but I simply can't do it anymore.
You just had it.
When it comes to pushing it...
No wonder, Lady...
Whoa.
Mr. Hiroyama, in both Liyue and Inazuma, seals are widely used as the equivalents of a signature. Of course, a seal on its own is not enough. First, we'll use a personalized seal. We can simply carve one using Chin. In addition...
All right, I think that would work.
So, what you mean to say...
Mr. Hiroyama, it's some... But if we adopt it, and if all the...
If you think it's feasible, I would certainly be happy to...
Yes, and you may leave carving the stamps.
In that case, I shall contact the other two authors.
It is a great honor to use a signature designed by...
My pen name is quite complicated and isn't suitable for signing events.
Great! Looks like everyone's on board with...
I'm sorry to have kept you busy for so long, Jinyu. Please, take the books that Jinyu already signed can be used...
We did it. The event...
Thanks to everyone's...
Welcome to Uyu Restaurant. Please talk to me if you want to order.
We still have some time to burn.
Traveler, there you are.
Oh, it's Ayaka! And Venti!
I was just going to the festival venue to prepare the Ikebana lesson. This bar just happened to be close by at the time. He informed me that... But the paper she found isn't quite this... Here's the paper.
Huh. All the poems we found before were...
And even though there are only 2 short sentences... The position of the writing seems to indicate that there...
If we take the poem literally, it... Speaking of which...
So, shall we give it a... see what it says. The story says that after Sumizomi got the plagiarized words in the poem
You see, Paimon, in the past, when printing was not yet well developed, and to ensure the text lasted longer, they'd either write using a special ink. Such special inks are time-consuming and laborious. However, since Akihito's poetry collection was... But as for the plagiarized poems, not only would they lack Akihito's seal, but the words would also react differently when exposed to liquid.
Which means Akihito didn't plagiarize his work.
Yes, it appears that this is the truth that Sumizomi... Although the story is saddening, I've decided on Kazuha, Ayaka. Would you be willing to be the models for my paintings?
I would be delighted.
Yes, as would I.
There you go. The next 2 portraits.
Yes. And now that all 4 stories have all been collected...
Long ago, Inazuma had 5 legendary poets. People bestowed upon them the title of the 5 Kasen.
One year, the poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku and presented the Kasen's work for the shogun's perusal. But a page from the works of Aoi no Okina had been torn out, and Suiko was questioned regarding the matter. Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before, and vaguely recalled a mysterious figure approaching while he was intoxicated.
That figure was none other than Aoi no Okina himself. This turn of events had begun with an unnamed individual, under whose coercion, Aoi no Okina was forced to take drastic measures to retrieve a page of poetry. He knew nothing of this individual's true intentions. All he knew was that the poem had to do with an old acquaintance, Akihito.
Akihito had once belonged to the 5 Kasen. Each poem he composed, he marked with a scarlet red seal, hence the Aka in his name. Such a distinguished writer was he, and yet one of the poems he had submitted the previous year was found to be plagiarized. Akihito was exiled for his crimes, and only 4 of the 5 Kasen remained.
Sumizome went over Akihito's poems and noticed that the plagiarized poem lacked his seal. She immersed his poetry in a stream nearby, and only on the plagiarized poem did the ink run. Aoi no Okina passed by and witnessed Sumizome's doing, which he then recorded in a poem. Thus transpired the events of Suiko's poetry submission, and this is where the story comes to an end.
Exorcism.
Yeah. Ever since we one of the 5 cop, it's just that... How could the story of the... Oh! Huh? Not noticed...
What he means is that the story of Kuronushi...
Huh?
That's right. The key lies in the poem that Aoi no Okina. An average person could never understand the scene of a young girl. Even Aoi no Okina couldn't. However, for the perpetrator, he was worried that if this poem was seen by the shogun, then the shogun, so in desperation...
Which means... The one who threatened Aoi no Okina is the same person... What? Kuronushi?
That's right. Though there are only 4, since the shogun mentioned in the poems is certainly not the one of the 5 Kasen.
Oh!
However, the story of the 5 Kasen has more or less... Which begs the question... Is there a Kuronushi in our world as well?
A Kuronushi?
Speaking of which, I wonder if our dear Kazuha has come up with anything.
Oh, right! Kazuha! He's been pretty quiet this whole time. Let's ask him! Hey, Kazuha! Are you okay? If it's...
Apologies for making a wild assumption, but has the...
Yes. A few things did come to mind, actually. I don't mind sharing the stories, but I'd prefer not to bring you any...
Hey! We're all friends here, Kazuha. You can always tell us whatever...
Kaidehara, please forgive my assumption, but perhaps you were thinking of the Raiden Gokuden?
The Raiden Gokuden? What?
It appears that Miss Kamisato and I were thinking of the same thing. But it also has much to do with the Yashiro Commission. It would be improper to speak of it here without the consent of Miss Kamisato.
It's fine. Those of us here are all trustworthy. However, this matter is somewhat complicated and may be difficult to explain. As you all know, the Yashiro Commission's primary purpose is managing... The Raiden Gokuden were once the top 5 schools of the forging art in Inazuma. Unfortunately, of the 5, the descendants of the Ishin art are none other than the Kaidehara family.
Whoa! We knew Kazuha came from a noble family, but we had no idea about his connection.
Yes, but that's all part of the past now. The Ishin art was lost. My grandfather was dissatisfied with my great-grandfather's lack of effort when he was young. And in my generation, our last remaining family property was lost as well.
I heard my elder brother mention that the decline of the Raiden Gokuden happened very rapidly. In the span of a few decades, 3 of the families suffered various misfortunes and disappeared. Later, there was speculation that all of these misfortunes stemmed from some background machinations. However, since not every family of the Raiden Gokuden came to ruin, such
Indeed. However, I know that a major incident happened. Not only did it affect the Kaedehara clan, but it nearly... After reading the story of the 5 Kasen, I can't help but feel like it's pointing me toward...
What exactly happened to your...
I still can't say. I need to speak with someone to... I will tell you everything I know then.
Kazuha said he would wait for us at the 5 Kasen Plaza today. Let's go find him there.
Festivals always attract so many people.
Ah, you're here. It appears everyone has arrived. Last night, I visited a former servant who once worked for my family. I was able to learn the entirety of what happened, although in my great-grandfather's generation, the Ishin, though all the craftsmen involved, when the deadline came, the blade still wasn't finished. So the craftsmen all fled and hid for fear of punishment. The Kaedehara clan and Yashiro Commission then conducted an investigation. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan eventually tracked down the... However, they met fierce resistance from the craftsmen, and in the end, the Kaedahara clan was severely punished for the swordsmiths that had escaped, and Moreover, I heard that the head of the Kamisato clan was injured by the fleeing swordsmiths, which combined with his advanced age caused him to pass away shortly.
Yes. The sudden passing of the family head left the Kamisato clan leaderless. Treacherous people took advantage of the situation and put the family status in the This single incident had profound effects. Even after the position as head of the clan was passed to my father, the Kamisato clan still wasn't able to regain its prior reputation. But, thanks to my brother, everything is getting better now.
The failure to forge the blade was ultimately attributed to a lack of required skill. However, the story of the 5 Kasen seems to imply that the failure didn't stem from a lack of skill, but rather, the diagram had been tampered with by Miss Kamisato. I heard yesterday that the Yashiro Commission... Might I ask you to do...
Yes, I understand. I will go back.
Heart be pure.
Everyone, I've managed to find the old
Though the diagram is well preserved.
Whoa, that's pretty.
At this point, we can only try our luck and see how it...
Although the effect is not too obvious, Kazuha, this is clear evidence that this chart...
I see. But I fear that I've discovered this secret too late. When my grandfather was young, he proposed reviving the Ishin art many times. Yesterday, the former family servant said that Sure enough, my grandfather left Inazuma in a rage after hearing those words. He didn't... Looking back at it now, the argument...
Oh, Kazu.
I heard that your great-grandfather was very industrious when he was young. But
Kazuha, did your great-grandfather really say, if you can't find the secret within?
Yes. The servant said my grandfather was so angry at the time that he smashed my
Yes, it appears that... Kazuha, if your great-grandfather thought that the Ishin art lacked finesse, then after witnessing his son's... But instead he said, if you can't find the secret within...
Huh? So you're saying my great-grandfather may have very well known...
Yes. The current evidence...
I apologize, but would you all... After I became a wanted criminal, the Tenryou Commission seized my family's last remaining... I want to inquire about the whereabouts of those...
All right, let's...
The defenses on the left side of the tower need to be strengthened.
Glory to the Shogun and her everlasting reign. You're still too young. That's why you're making all kinds of mistakes.
What are you all doing here? Did something happen on Rito?
Kujo Sara. Perhaps you still remember me.
Yes, I do. You're Kaedehara Kazuha, a wanted criminal during—
Sara, we'd like to ask about the Kaedehara clan's property that was seized by the
Yes, the items seized at that time are currently stored in the warehouse next to the police station.
No, I'm afraid you misunderstand. I'm not here to reclaim those belongings.
I see. All right.
Thank you, Sara!
Kaedehara.
That's all in the past now, Kujo Sara. There's no need to mention it again. However, may I ask something of you?
Yes? What is it?
Currently, I have no plans to stay in Inazuma. As a result, those items— Madam Kujo, I believe you are a person of integrity. After our investigation is over, I'd like to ask if you can handle the—
All right, I understand. I'll be sure to take care of it.
You're still too young. That's why you're making all kinds of mistakes.
The left side of the tower need to be
Ah, you must be here to investigate the Kaedehara clan's belongings. Well, Madame Kujo's already informed me of the situation. The Kaedehara clan. However, I'll be waiting for you at the door. Please, come see me if you require any assistance.
Kazuha, since the items are scattered throughout the—
Yes, sounds like a
Oh, it's you.
Oh, since the Kaedehara clan was—
I'm afraid not. Although the blade on the sword hasn't been—
Let Paimon see! Oh, there seems to be a couple— Paimon can imagine what Kazuha was—
I will continue investigating here and call you if I find anything interesting.
What did you find, Shinjo?
I found quite the pile of— These books here are all related to smelting steel. And the—
The books about plants and—
I skimmed through them just now, but I didn't—
There
must be some around here. Do you see all these pots here? Some of the—
Hey! Everyone else is trying.
I merely jest of—
Well, Paimon doesn't really get why Kazuha told. What if we don't end up finding anything today? Then what?
I know you are since Kazuha made such a request to Sarah. No, not intuition. Rather, I've lived for a long time now. Leave the things here to me.
Oh, it's you.
Whoa, this folding screen.
Yes. Perhaps if it were better maintained, then it could fetch a decent price. I was taking a closer look just now, and the soil is deeply embedded into the cloth. That means a great deal of because this is not what— Let me think.
Albedo seems to be.
Everyone, I've found something that you should all have a look at.
Oh.
This flower pot was in my house for a long time.
Yeah, the plants seem to have been.
Well, after my great-grandfather stopped studying the forging arts, but he specifically left behind this dead plant at the time. And my grandfather but now that I think about it... Yes.
We finally found something! Do you think someone already discovered?
No, I do not think that is the case here. See the paper? It's quite yellowed.
You mean to say that these sheets have been...
Yes, I agree with this hypothesis.
Okay, let's give it a dunk then.
There is a pond outside the police station.
Well, how did it go? Those weren't just
Just as everyone guessed, after I sprinkled some water onto the paper,
Oh? What does the letter say?
it is. I'll tell you what my great-grandfather... Everyone, please...
Kaedehara, why did you lead us to this beach?
It is. In fact, my our hypothesis was correct. It reads, to whoever reads this letter, I, Kaedehara Yoshino, all those years ago, when I was pursuing the swordsmiths alongside Commissioner Kamisato of the Yashiro Commission, I was not injured by one of the fleeing smiths. Rather,
it was night, and after the clues led us down to shore, I waited for the culprits to show themselves. However, this stranger claimed to be the one behind the failed forgings, and said that he had been patiently waiting for us. He then threatened to destroy the Raiden Gokaden. That person was of able body, and in a blink of an eye, myself and the accompanying samurai, Commissioner Kamisato, was severely wounded, and I barely escaped death myself. The unusual stranger could have easily claimed my life at that moment. But, after noticing my appearance, I answered that it was my father's surname, and after my father disappeared, upon hearing my answer, the stranger paused. After a long silence, he suddenly said, "Tell her this. My name is Kunikuzushi." He then turned and left.
Wow.
Yes. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato. However, due to the encounter, the head of the... Because the perpetrator said he would destroy the Raiden Gokaden. He said, as the leader of the Kaedehara clan, I am deeply ashamed to witness that. Yes, that's unfortunately. Miss Kamisato, it appears you were unaware of the happenings that my great-grand...
I suppose the reason the head of... If the perpetrator was capable of tampering with even the Shogun's diagrams, and could single-hand... I will discuss this matter with Brother shortly.
To be honest, as I read the letter, my great-grandfather said in the letter that he did not wish his though he was in a tight situation when he wrote these words. I think what's most important for each person is not the past, but the present. Even though we must carry the burdens, therefore, knowing the truth. That being said, if the enemy from all those years ago is still lurking and plotting to stir up more trouble, these are simply insights I've got. Thank you all.
Great! Now that we're done here, stage of the Iridori Festival. Not only will there be Shincho's signing event, but Albedo's...
Hello, traveler.
Albedo? Why is the portrait of Kuranushi all covered up? Paimon wants to see what your...
Don't worry. The unveiling ceremony... I will say that I'm most satisfied with this particular work. Is that...
right here and try my Inazuma.
Hello, everyone.
Hey! What are you two doing together? Don't think we didn't see...
Is that so? I'm afraid you're...
We were merely discussing wine and food.
Speaking of good sides with sake, I personally prefer fried tofu.
Forget it. Even if those two are...
If you're tired from walking all around the festival, how about you sit right here and try my Inazuman snacks? Festivals always attract so many people.
Traveler, Paimon, it's a pleasure to... Indeed it did. Thanks to you...
shit!
You aren't mistaken. Though I'm ashamed to admit it. But in fact, after all, I came to Inazuma under the pretext of evaluating a potential investment. Fortunately, the crowds of readers that came flocking over have... Oh, I should mention, Shu is also unaware of the real purpose of my trip. Then, please accept my thanks in advance. I'll see you later at the...
Ah, greetings, traveler.
Oh, Ayato! We finally get to see the busiest
Yes, there were many things which required my attention. Fortunately, the Iridori Festival is proceeding smoothly.
Brother and I are very grateful for your help.
Toma sure is taking his sweet time.
Yes. Today is one of the rare occasions when Brother isn't busy.
Paimon didn't think
Brother always works diligently, so Toma and I really cherish such moments when he's forgetful.
I ride on wind and cloud alike.
Kazuha, what are you doing?
I came here to take in the sea breeze. Such a bustling atmosphere. I knew. Thank you. But please, look. See this familiar harbor in front of us? But now, it's become a bustling... Not only are foreigners coming to Inazuma again, but traffic between here and Watatsumi Island has also been...
Yeah, Inazuma has already started to change, huh?
I was thinking, in some way, it might take a different amount of time, and when they finally let go.
It's time for the portrait's unveiling ceremony. Let's head over to the 5 Kasen Plaza.
Everyone, welcome to the magnificent Iridori Festival. Today, we have ushered in the final state, and now we will reveal the final portrait of the five.
Paimon has no idea what I'll be.
Let's all count down together. 3, 2, 1. Huh? What's this? I suppose Calx must have forgotten to include the
Hello, everyone. The 5 Kasen are legendary figure I learned from existing. Moreover, Kuronushi lacks a dedicated chapter among the stories. Perhaps we can assume that every creator, after all.
Yep, that's Albedo for ya. His super logical explanation is sure to win everyone's... Well, it seems that our adventures at the Iridori Festival have come to a close. Huh? Oh. Oh, right! We still... Really? Come on then, who is it? Tell Paimon! Well, that makes sense. Otherwise... Right. Even though they were using stories to hint us toward Shincho's troubles, the real goal is to... Oh! Paimon gets it now. Let's go! Ayato! You're the one behind the stories, but don't you think you overdid it a little?
As it just so happened.
Paimon went...
First of all, the start of this whole incident was due to mere happenstance. You see, Lady...
Huh? So Paimon knew it! This thing had Miko written...
That's right. But using the story of the 5 As for my roundabout approach, yes. Due to a certain incident that occurred, I knew there was more than meets the eye regarding those papers. What Kaedehara Yoshinori said in the letter. The Kaedehara clan used to be subordinate, although he has the right to know the truth. Of course, if he lacks the ability, then he wouldn't. Kaedehara Yoshinori left his for a long time.
Oh, Paimon gets it now. Yeah, it wasn't only Kazuha.
I figured you would ask this question eventually. I merely saw that this matter would be of value to... And more importantly, I hoped that while Kazuha and Ayaka were looking for the reliable friends who would be willing to protect them and make... Because it is also very likely that you will face the same enemy together and... You already know the answer deep down inside, don't you? The answer is actually hidden in the portrait of Kuronushi. When there is no one else near the portrait, you can confirm. As for the means of revealing that...
exorcism you...
It's getting pretty late, so Ayato must have been telling us to splash water on... It's the Balladeer! So he was the one behind the trouble all those years ago!
When there is no one else near the portrait, you can... As for the means of revealing that answer... Well, also, there's one last... I mentioned earlier that the occurrence of a certain It was just after the Shogun announced the abolition of the Sakoku decree. They had discovered signs that someone had entered. I felt something unusual about... In the meantime,
You mean...
I let him search for a while, but in the end...
Why didn't you send someone to catch him?
The best way to protect a secret is to treat it as if it... After he left Inazuma, I carefully checked the Kaedahara clan's belongings. I am certain that the papers are the secret which the infiltrator sought to find. So, now on to... Which part of Kaedahara Yoshinori's experiences was the secret that needed to be protected? As for now, please, enjoy yourselves at the Iridori Festival.